Welcome to my show. This is Ron Tucker, along with my sometimes buddy Donald the Clown. Yeah, I said sometimes because you sometime me. Sometimes I feel like cutting you off that damn balloon, and then other times you're all right with me when you're talking right. But anyway, uh, back to my show. I appreciate all the subscribers that sign in and tune into the show. Um, we got a lot to talk about. Of course, I always have something to talk about the state of affairs of our country and uh, his homeboy, Donald the Clown, the Trump. Oh, I'm sorry. Here's to the king. He just announced and anointed himself as the king. This Project 2025 mandate is something that everybody needs to look at because it spells out everything that Trump is doing, what he's been instructed to do, so to speak. And you can tell by the way he's been acting and reacting to President Zelensky over in Ukraine. He's trying to force that man to capitulate to Russia to pay Putin back for some of the debt that Trump has incurred over the years being held hostage by Mr. Vladimir Putin. And Trump is very, very worried, I think very terrified that all this is going to blow up in his face because he's making all the wrong moves. Of course, we are feeling it, we are seeing it, and it really just the tip of the spear because it really isn't in full blown mode yet. And it'll get there because you can best be sure that he's going to make sure it gets there to that point. But I also feel Trump is beholding and he's been bought by not only Putin, but he's also been bought by Elon Musk and those other multi-millionaires and billionaires that have supported Trump through this whole campaign up until now, moving forward. Trump has been bought, folks. He's been compromised because all of these, well, they call them the so-called oligarchs now of the United States, they've all bought a piece of Trump. And everything you look at, you ain't got to be a political strategist or a genius of any sort. You can tell what's happening. It's plain as day. Trump is a bought president. And everybody's taking a little piece out of that carcass right now because he's open for business because they didn't pay for it. They paid for his services and now they're watching and hoping for a robust return on their investment. What we're really witnessing right now, in a sense or in essence, is just a political crime spree. Plain and simple. It's a presidential crime spree, to be exact. This man, this so-called king of fools, he's determined that everything's going to be centralized to him and his attorney general. It's part of that Project 2025. And there's a guy by the last name of Yarvin. I can't remember his first name, but I put out the story months ago in one of my videos, and it all originated from a show that Rachel Maddow had on. And it talks about this guy named Yarvin that, not Elon Musk, I'm sorry, he might be too, but J.D. Vance, the so-called vice president, that's his mentor when it comes to the ideology that Trump is utilizing, Vance is enthralled with, and is part of the ideology of Project 2025. Where this Yarvin guy feels that the United States is like a company, it should be ran like a company, and Trump, being the president, is actually the CEO of this company that used to be a country. So that's how they feel that Trump should run it. And all of us know Trump's track record and history when it comes to running businesses into the ground with the bankruptcies and stuff that's on his ledger. So it really is not too surprising that he's doing these things to the United States government. And just like the rest of his business ventures, it's going to fall into ruin. But this is not the collapse of a business. This could be the collapse of our democracy, our society, our structure of government, our way of living. It's like dropping a rock in a pond. The ripple effects have not totally been felt yet. And a lot of finger pointing is being aimed at the Democratic Party. They're not doing enough. And what are they going to do? And, you know, need to be more forceful. And some of those things may be true. I feel like the Democratic Party could have been more full throated when it came to certain things, like really getting out there to all the masses as much as possible, or even more so, just to uh, illustrate the things that the Biden and Harris administration accomplished, the things that Trump is lying about and constantly trying to revocate everything and remove all the bills and um, just eliminate all of the different programs that the Biden administration put together to help people. You didn't see and you never saw President Biden talking to people and telling them that the government is terrible and the government is wasteful and just trashing the government, trashing the agencies. You never saw President Biden coming in with a wrecking ball and just destroying people's lives indiscriminately. You never saw President Biden cutting aid off from people that need it badly. Of course, sure, there are poverty here in the United States. Been like that forever for various reasons. We're going to have poverty. But to take away the aid to a group of people, and of course they're black, like the people in Sudan and those other uh, areas of Africa and other places that we're sending aid to around the world, we have a surplus of wealth and we have the means to help others. And for Donald Trump to just wave his little imperial hand and just allow people to die because he doesn't give a damn. Those are the things that President Biden would never think about doing. President Biden never went through agencies and just fired people without a care. He didn't do the things that this madman is doing. And it's obscene. It's really obscene. And the sad thing about it is that we got a party, not the Democrats, but a Republican Party, or there used to be a Republican Party, but a party of people who are in office and swore an oath to the Constitution and refuse to uphold that oath. They pledge allegiance to Donald Trump. To a worthless, egotistical, mean spirited, maniacal convict and a con artist. And he's duped the American public, the ones that voted for him, once again, and you know, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, they never have lied about people and about things like Donald Trump, and he still won the election. It's just still stunning, but at the same time, it may not be so stunning when you look back at everything. And there's a guy that I'm going to mention. His name is Greg Palast. You might have heard of him by now. You may not have, but if you haven't, you probably need to take a look at his video he's got out. Now, I haven't looked at it yet myself. I'm going to, definitely, probably tomorrow. He lays out what he has found out through his research as to what happened during the election. And the election was decided because of voter suppression and all the gerrymandering and the things that the Republican Party had been putting together for years. And every election, when they tried to um, purge the votes like they did in all the counties and swing states that had a heavy black population, that's what they did. And they succeeded. And that's why Kamala lost the election. If you believe in what Mr. Palast has to say, I've heard him talk about uh, his research on a number of shows. And now I'm ready to take a look at the video because it's very compelling based on what I've heard him say on social media and on YouTube channels. And, you know, he's probably going to catch a lot of flack um, once this really builds up to the point where so many people start really tuning in and checking out what he has to say on this video. But it sounds pretty compelling. And you take a look at it and you be the judge. So, with that being said, there's just so many things that through the past 30 days that Donald Trump has engaged in and has gotten away with. And he's just basically just right now, I think a lot of his executive orders, matter of fact, I know most of his executive orders are unconstitutional, but the wheels of our justice system turn so slow. A lot of people just got to suffer until the law finally catches up with the case and hopefully puts things to rest. We got a Republican Party that is um, just chickened out, abdicated all their authority and their power, and just ceded all of it over to the executive branch with Mr. King. This is not going to culminate, first of all, into putting any kind of crown on his head unless somebody crowns him with something else that may be, I don't know, a brick or something like that. He's being um, crowned by some of these individuals out there that love to try to make some little meme or want to do some little Photoshop deal and make him look something like he never could be or never will be. Um, it's just I just can't understand how Republicans can just, um, and I'm talking about the Republican Congress and also the Senate, how they don't care about the rule of law anymore. They don't care. Uh, just seeing things for what they are, knowing that they're wrong, and not caring about our country. and our way of life and how we're trying to get ahead. Everything was running pretty smooth and fine until, of course, no one, well, we didn't want, well, the majority of us didn't want Donald Trump to win because we didn't think it was going to be like this. But nothing astounding surprises us when he's involved. And the cruelty and the things that that man exhibits, along with some of his uh, supporters, his cohorts, his clown cabinet that he put together. And by the way, the confirmation of virtually all of Donald Trump's picks was just a disgrace and a sheer abomination of the powers that our Senate has. It was just incredible. But pretty much you knew when they confirmed Robert Kennedy Jr., I knew the game was over at that point. It was a wrap. I mean, you know, the height of competency that Robert Kennedy Jr. does not possess is mind blowing. I knew after he was confirmed, it wasn't no sense to the Democrats even showing up for the confirmation hearings. It was nothing but a sham anyway. And y'all were just wasting your time showing up because they were going to push everybody that Trump wanted through anyway. Except one of the most polarizing and hated figures in Congress, which was Matt Gaetz. They got rid of him a long time ago. And you know, Matt Gaetz got to be terrible. He got to be a gutter rat when Robert F. Kennedy Jr. got confirmed and Gaetz didn't. But if I was a betting man, I would have lost money on betting against Robert Kennedy Jr. because I said that to almost anybody I talked to, there ain't no way in the world he was going to make it. She talking about you told me so. You know, whatever. Anyway, you know what you know more about politics than I do. I'm getting tired of you, I swear. Anyway, I would have lost big money if I had put some big money on that one because I just figured as raggedy and as sorry as some of these picks were, I knew Robert Kennedy Jr. can't. He it's nowhere in the world. After looking at some of those hearings, I'm like, nah. Just to listen to him talk, I'm like, nah, hell no. This dude voice sound like a gravel. He lying on the damn stage, so to speak, talking about a bunch of incoherent nothing. Don't know the difference between Medicare and Medicaid. Just got exposed by everybody. Standing there looking like a blithering idiot. But one thing all those people had in common: the Pam Bondis, the Tulsi Gabbards, the Kennedy Jr., the Hegseth, you name them. Even little Marco. One thing they all had in common: they were all professional liars. They lied, and the Republican senators knew they were lying through their teeth. And we all knew that they were lying to those senators straight through their teeth. And those senators didn't even blink. You know why? Because they knew like a base. They might send me some death threats to my family, and I can't take that chance of them harming my family. You know what? Those fears are well founded. I'm gonna admit that. I mean, there's a lot of people who be worried and concerned about their family if some threats were issued to them. But there are people in our government to get death threats every single day, multiple threats. Anybody that's pretty much in politics, or even if they aren't involved in the decision making of things, if they're just pundits, activists, reporters, journalists, if they aren't down with MAGA, they're gonna get death threats and bomb threats and all kind of threats because we got people who are unhinged that can't deal with normalcy, reality. They are so warped in their minds, just crazy. That sure, I suppose. Where in the world I'm gonna sit here and say that's out of the realm of possibility that somebody might get attacked or hurt? There's crazies walking around here every single freaking day, every day, all day, 24/7. That's the way the world is. That's the way this world is. Death is right around the corner for so many of us. I hate to say it like that. It's just the truth because there's as sure as we've lost children in the school shootings and stuff like that. Trump arguably got nicked by a bullet, but the shooter got killed. Like I said, death sometimes, hey, it don't play no favorites. But back to my point, all these spineless Republican senators, they're not afraid of Trump himself. Trump's just if you want to call him a human being, but that's it. It's the people that supports him, that cast their votes for him, that drool over him, that treat him like he's some kind of idol. Those are people you got to worry about, right? But not so much Trump. Well, I guess it's just who Trump represents, and that's the crazies out there. But in that same vein, you have people on the Democratic side who catches death threats too, but they're still upholding and maintaining the premises and the precepts of our Constitution. It's called doing your job. And the Republicans, when it's time for them to go through their ritual self puffery and bloviating about the Constitution, how somebody else has violated it, they always want to put somebody on a hearing to excoriate them and talk about how much of a liar they are. Brings to mind that guy named Hunter Biden. When they talk about he was a liar, everything else under the sun can't be trusted. No morals, no character. Oh, they raked him over the coals 5 or 6 times and then some. But these same people who want to crucify and vilify and talk about people like they are not childs of God, acting like they are so moral and so above the fray that they're beyond reproach. And they sat there and listened to, I don't know how many, 12, 13 people in succession lie to them at these confirmation hearings, and it didn't make a difference to them. Let them go. Bring them all in. Trump wants them, they got to be legit. If Trump wants them, they got to be real upstanding people. If Trump wants them, their baggage don't matter. We got to please him because he's more important than the Constitution. He's more important than allowing people to keep their jobs. He's more important than keeping America in a position of world prominence. See, he's more important than virtually anything and everything, and especially for those Republicans who want to make sure that they got a chance at keeping their jobs again in the next election, even though they ain't done shit in years that's worth a damn. We focus so much on the top of the political food chain, we forget about the bottom, where all the grassroots and all the people are at who need the most help at times like these. Y'all keep putting in the wrong people at that level. So you forget about the state and local. Stop voting for Republicans, folks. You might have a better outcome than you have today. To me, it just makes sense, stands to reason. Uh, when you voted for that congressman on the Republican side, or that congressman on the senator on the Republican side, look what you got now. Look what you got today. Chaos, confusion, fear, apprehension, uncertainty, and just everything all effed up. Now, Trump and Musk, they came in smashing up everything with sledgehammers and a wrecking ball. They're just going to dismantle the whole governmental apparatus because Trump, who's a convicted individual, 34 convictions, folks, and he all of a sudden is the leader of truth and justice in America. So he's dismantling everything and trying to consolidate all the things that will expose his ass and his boy Elon Musk. Y'all see it, folks. You see it. You see it. He's taking apart and hiding all the things that the public needs to know about. Him and his cabal to make sure that the stuff that was going to be dirty on Elon with his conflict of interest, having all these government contracts and still getting ready to get paid again and again and again. But he's supposed to be rooting out government fraud and waste on his right hand. But on the left hand, he's getting paid all this government money on more contracts and funding and whatnot. But that's all going to him on the left. It's a balancing act. Richest man in the world getting richer and fatter because you got a fat ass so-called president that's sitting around spending taxpayer money on his golfing outings just like he did the first time, folks. Do y'all see a little bit of deja vu here? He has spent more than $10 million on golfing outings in 30 days. How many of y'all got $10 million to just blow? He ain't have 10 million to do his golfing thing. He got a piggy bank that he's been using ever since he was in office first time. See, Trump is like that. He's slick with y'all. He's slick. Got y'all looking this way, and he's doing something over there. Crying about everybody is wasting money and stuff like that. But he got his little grabbers out and scooping up everything and just looking away. Got y'all again. It's fraud and it's waste. That's what's going on out there. It's fraud and waste. Yeah, in the Biden administration, they messing up the economy. I didn't have nothing to do with inflation. There was no inflation when I was in office. Goddamn lie. But he knows ain't nobody gonna really check his ass. Because Trump knows a good lie will always get him over. Because Americans are used to him lying. And the ones who uh, love his draws, they don't faze them one bit. They don't care. He can do anything he wants, like he's always done to our country. Con artists. And you got some people out there that are uh, crying the blues right now. Talking about how they should have, they shouldn't have voted for him. Well, you're kind of right, but yeah, a little too late for that now. But all I can say is Elon Musk, what the hell's he doing checking out government things that he has no business being involved in? You got certain congressmen and senators who don't have access to the things he has access to. And if anybody thinks that Elon Musk doesn't have data and information with his so-called crack crew of little delinquent kids, so to speak, you must be smoking crack and taking meth and chasing that with fentanyl. Elon Musk has got everything he wants, everything he needs, and Trump and the crew are going to cover up because it's all they all do is just cover up for each other's lies. The man hasn't even got a clearance that we know of. He has no authority. He's a civilian. He's just a citizen, but he's running the country. How, how in the hell do Republicans, especially these Republican senators and congressmen, how do they even sleep at night? Knowing they don't even have the balls to do the bare minimums of their constitutional duties. They are the ones that I hold accountable and responsible just as much as Trump, maybe even more, because they could stop the carnage, but they won't lift a finger. They're afraid they're going to get primaried. And so, uh, to preserve their jobs, where most of them really just stealing money from the government because they ain't doing no damn work, really, just showing up, giving their word salads in the House, Comer, and Jim Jordan, and the rest of them. Now, Pam Bondi with her lying ass, and you got, oh God, when you think about the fact that now the whole thing is complete now, the puzzle, where you got Cash Money Patel, head of the FBI. I'd be damned if that ain't worse than Hegseth getting put in charge of the Secretary of Defense, being the Secretary of Defense, and in charge of DOD and the Pentagon. Man, we are fucked. You got a bunch of snakes running the country with the head. Well, I guess Trump is a king in that regard, a king snake. If I'm gonna label all them snakes, he's the king. And they're just all slithering around and just destroying the country. And politicians, especially on the Republican side, they just sitting there and just and nothing we can do about it. Yeah, I didn't see that. No, I didn't hear it. I don't know. Don't leave me alone. I don't want to start no problem with Trump. They all walking stooped over, noses touching the shoes because they ain't got no spines. All them walking on their bellies. These snakes. And trying to destroy all of minority culture. They just taking down everything that's been a symbol of black pride, black achievement. They finally got their wishes to more or less just take down Black History Month. But it ain't gonna stop Black History Month from being celebrated, and it's not gonna erase Black history. Can't do that. You can try in your own warped way. You could try. All you racists out there, it ain't gonna work because we are woven into the fabric of this society just like you. And as much as you would like to get rid of us too, like you're trying to deport all these Venezuelans, and now I understand that they're trying to get rid of all these Haitian immigrants that's supposed to be on a contract for until 2026. Trump and them have already moved to get rid of them. So um, from the lies that him and our so-called vice president uttered during the campaign, that those Haitian people, they were eating dogs and cats, to now they didn't figure out a way to go ahead and get rid of them too. This is what we call the systematic eradication of as many minorities out of this country as they can get out, just to suit the people who are racist, from the top of the food chain down to the lowest uh, rural, redneck, Nazi, white individual who just don't like black peoples, don't like those immigrants, don't like those Venezuelans, don't like those Haitians, don't like nobody don't look like me. How Hitler? I know Elon Musk with his South African apartheid ass is happy too, because he's coming in here and getting carte blanche to everything and anything, and he's trying to get his South African, white South Africans over here with Trump's blessing. They white. Bring them on and get rid of the other ones. Get them out of here. Make America white again. That's the rallying cry for them. It's a sad, sad situation, but we're gonna get through it. We're gonna get through it. It's just gonna be many, many more days of watching this buffoon in the White House try to clown and fulfill the objectives of all those oligarchs and all the people who feel like Donald Trump is doing a fantastic job in his um, demolition of America. And they're all for him, they're all supporting him. So if the Republican Party ain't talking about him, that means they're supporting him. And you can't really say anything now without looking like you're offending their Fuhrer, Mr. Trump. I'm going to say it right now. Fuck him.